Joining me now, Michigan Representative Debbie Dingell. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining me as always. Can I get your take on the significance of all this? What do you think?
Well, you know, first of all, you can never, I don't want to take a shot at anything that's an effort towards peace. So, and it was very significant. I have been to the DMZ, and quite frankly, it's one of the, I've ever felt like I was looking at evil or meeting evil. That is something that I still hold in my heart. So that's what I want everyone to remember, that Kim Jong-un is still a despot. He is a tyrant. He executed the last person that was the negotiator for negotiations between the United States and North Korea. So I want to be optimistic. But I'm also a realist. So I want this to be more than a photo opportunity. North Korea still has, I don't want anything to happen that is going to legitimize them towards being a nuclear power.
So what would progress look like then to you?
Well, I want to see them stop testing nuclear weapons. We want to make sure that Japan is safe there and that they don't have short-range nuclear weapons. I would like to know that anybody who negotiates with the United States is going to be safe from being murdered. We also to look at what the people in North Korea, the circumstances that they're living under, these prison camps, the execution of many people, the treatment of many people. So there's a long road ahead, but you know, the fact of the matter is Steve Bannon, who is the lead negotiator for the United States, actually spent time here in Michigan, worked for Ford. I have a great deal of respect for him. I always try to be hopeful, but I also am a realist.
Let's look at what happened on Friday with the president meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, appearing to joke about election interference. And I know you were none too pleased with it, having tweeted in response, "This is outrageous." So let's take a listen to the president defending that exchange with Putin.
You're going to have to take a look at the words. I did say it. And we had a discussion. We had a great discussion. President Putin and myself. I thought it was really a tremendous discussion. Russia. Isn't it crazy? You know, he denies it totally, by the way. I mean, how many times can you get somebody to deny something?
All right, so your reaction to the president in total there.
Okay, I don't do well on making a joke about Russian interference in our elections. And if you've read the Mueller report, you know that there is no doubt that is just spelled out in no uncertain terms that Russia tried to interfere in our 2016 election. We are already hearing from many of our different law enforcement officials that they are trying to do the same thing. So making a joke out of this thugs trying to interfere in our country just isn't okay to me, to be perfectly frank.
Yep. Well, we've got the House this week passing Securing America's Federal Elections Act, and that would require measures to help avoid election interference ahead of 2020. Do you think this goes up for a vote in the Senate? And if it makes it to the president's desk, are you at all concerned about whether or not he signs it? I mean, especially after watching how he's handled this subject at G20.
I would like to see take up securing our elections. There are many different pieces of this. I mean, I've had my own bill last year that would just say that we should have paper ballots so that if we need to do recounts, those would be safe. We need to make sure that we're giving enough money to the states so that they can secure the election process. So I know that senators in both parties have expressed their concern. I'd like to see them take it up. I'm always going to be positive. Failure to do so is a threat to our democracy. And I would hope the president would sign something like that. And if the American people speak loud enough, maybe he'll feel the pressure to do so.
One more question on the topic of Russia, with former Special Counsel Robert Mueller finally set to testify before 2 House panels next month. What is the #1 question you want your colleagues to ask him?
Do you believe that there was obstruction of justice? And I'd like him to answer it for the American people. You know, I'm going to say this to you, Alex. I think a lot of people haven't read this report. I'm home. You know that. I come home every weekend. I was out all day yesterday at festivals, at car cruises, and did a town hall meeting. I had people, they came to the town hall meeting and interrupted it to call for impeachment. But I'll tell you, there were more people yesterday, some were nice, some weren't so nice, about don't impeach. They have very strong feelings. And I spent a day like I did yesterday in my district, and it was the same kind of feeling that maybe predict what could happen 2.5 years ago. This country's torn. And what I want to see at that Mueller testimony is facts that all the American people can hear and make their determination about what happened. And I think a lot of Americans haven't read that report. I think that Mueller testimony will be watched. I think there's too much interpretation, too much parsing, and not enough of the man that did the report talking directly to the American
people. We need clarity and truth and some answers. Okay. Debbie Dingell, as always, many thanks, and happy 4th to you, my friend.
Happy 4th.
President